Okay. So, das heißt, welcher Hinweis fehlt uns noch? Oh, wir haben alle Hinweise. Jet, wir haben unser erstes Opfer gefunden. Okay, wohin bringt uns der Blood Trail? Blood Trail? Oh Gott, ist das schwierig zu steuern, Chat. Das ist ja wie so eine Schiene. Chat, unser erster Happen.
So this is how it ends. Farewell, my life, you betrayed me, God.
Wir haben unseren ersten Menschen getötet. Tot! Tot! Und das Schöne ist, wir haben noch den letzten Gedanken des Opfers gehört. So eine Scheiße, das Leben hat mich betrogen, so endet's jetzt. Tja, Elwood, shit happens. So, Chat. Habt ihr jetzt Blut gesehen? Seid ihr zufrieden? So, ich hoffe, der bleibt jetzt hier nicht liegen, weil, ich meine, wäre mir jetzt ein bisschen peinlich, wenn da jetzt einer reinkommt und mich erwischen würde. Du bist Crane. Dich können wir noch nicht. Oh, Hinweis! Oh, bitte nicht zu spät.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Es wird definitiv noch mehr, Chat, aber dafür müssen wir sorgsam die Hinweise sammeln. Und das werden wir. Wir werden uns viel Zeit lassen, um sie alle zu töten. Gut, der ist weg.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Moment, ich bin gerade hier am Lesen.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
I'm not smiling now. Oh, yo.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Jo, ist eigentlich... Oh nein, warte, nicht mesmerieren. Okay, 1:4. Also für Strickland brauchen wir noch ein paar Level.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Okay. Ein Hinweis über Harvey Fiddick. Oh, der hat 0. Erstmal. Ah, wir kriegen dann hier oben rechts, seht ihr, bei dem Kopf mit dem Kreisel, seht ihr, wie hoch unsere Stufe sein muss, um die zu töten. Boah, Gwyneth Brannigan 5. Boah, Edgar 6. 2, 3. Okay, Tippets. Oh, Clay, es wird nicht mehr lange dauern und du wirst sterben.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. I may see you later. Witzig. Also wenn ich in ein Krankenhaus gehe und da dauernd jemand schreit und ich glaube, dann würde ich mir überlegen, ob ich kommen würde.
How long must I wait, damn it? Blaming me will not further your agenda.
So, halt, meine liebsten Kinder, er schämt sich.
Sir, how long's it going to take to fix me properly? A month? A year? You have the right to disapprove of our methods, and you will kindly apologize when you're feeling better.
Waverly.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Boah, wie antworte ich denn jetzt?
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reed. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Okay, einen Hinweis haben wir schon mal.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
If you are going to lead this surgery, I'm trusting you to assume the consequences of your actions, whatever the result.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
Okay, das war anscheinend ohne irgendeine Konsequenz. Sehr schön.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Oh. Waverly, Waverly, du bist aber auch ein kleiner Schlawiner. Ne, warte, das ist nicht Cochrane. Ah, nee. Wo war Waverly? Hier war Waverly. Goswick. Das ist Milton. Milton Hooks. Waverly. Okay.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
Als ob ich das nicht wüsste.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Aykroyd.
Vielleicht wird er mir dadurch ein bisschen sympathischer.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
We'll talk later, Alligator.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Was ich mich frage, muss der eigentlich leben, damit die anderen ihr, Vorhaben durchsetzen können, oder kann der ruhig sterben? Das muss ich mal hier nebenbei mal lesen.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Oha. Wir haben alle 3 Hinweise und er hat nur eine 1.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
Oh.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Ellen didn't bring them with her that night.
Wir probieren's, Chat. Wir probieren's einfach.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
Ja, du sollst jetzt erstmal was anderes investigaten.
All I wanted was to go back to work, to take care of my children.
Oh, ist irgendwie traurig. Wir haben ihn gekillt und er so, ich wollte doch noch meine Kinder. Fühlen wir uns jetzt schlecht deswegen? Vielleicht. Fühlt sich Reed dadurch schlecht? Auf keinen Fall. Wir haben schon wieder 2395 Erfahrungspunkte, Chat. Ich glaube, als böser Vampir wirst du halt auch ein bisschen OWP, weil du halt einfach so viel Erfahrung kriegst. So, der hat leider nichts Besonderes, das habe ich mir auch schnell mal nachgeguckt. Tschüss, Harvey. Ich frage mich halt legit, ob die am nächsten Tag immer noch da liegen. Oder ob die tot sind. Milton beutet einige Patienten des Pembrokes aus, das war der Hinweis. Huch, oh Gott, bin ich erschrocken. Hallo, Shadan.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague. Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
Und Chat, wie fandet ihr den zweiten Tod?
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Dem seine Einstellung möchte ich mal zum Tod, ey.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Okay. Gut, dich werden wir natürlich auch noch genauer in die
Goodbye,
Lupe
Mr.
nehmen.
Chidana.
Naja, wenn du so eine Einstellung hast, dann hast du halt auch keine Angst, irgendwo drauf zu gehen, ne? Ich weiß nicht, wie es euch geht, aber ich habe da Respekt davor.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Der hat mich unterbrochen mitten im Kaputtmachen. Manche sagen, es ist einfach wie Einschlafen, man braucht keine Angst davor zu haben. Hoho, ich habe die beide auf einmal getötet. Das Foto von Piper und Milton.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Milton werde ich wahrscheinlich noch nicht gleich töten, weil ich will halt seine Schrotflinte. Komm schon, Shadana, ich bin hier. Ja, nee, der hat zum Beispiel Gesundheit, also Ich bräuchte erst Stufe 4, um den aussaugen zu können. Und das kriege ich wahrscheinlich erst mitten in der Geschichte oder so. Liegt Elwood eigentlich immer noch hier? Nee, ne? Der ist weg. Gut, dass die nach einer Zeit despawnen. Komm, Shadana.